Right.
If you fade that back up again as well as Chris.
Making friends perform. What I need to assure everybody of is this is the devil being summoned.
Okay.
Stop my video. What's that mean? Fucking hell! I'm trying to get the devil up, and I want you to stop the video. That's the first time I've ever come across that.
He's suggesting some sort of incantation here, Christopher.
Incantations, I think he said.
Yeah, I did.
Let's see what. Oh, now we're talking. Is this interactive? Is it?
Isn't it?
Never goes wrong when you try to summon the devil, does it?
Chris contacted earlier and said that at 9:45 he was going to try and summon up the devil.
I'm still behind. I'm looking at you. That's the thing. Can I hear you back?
Probably
Say
not.
hello.
Hello.
He'll try again. He will try again. Thanks, Chris. Good effort.
Excellent.
Nearly. Okay, it's time to do some proper signing of a rugby song. The moment that Alison and Matt and Stuart have been waiting for.
Yes. Been waiting for.
Bated breath.
And we decided that we would do this on the tail end of last week's very successful experiment in signing pieces. I'll just take this human zoo call in case it's a woman. You never know.
Yeah, that sounds like a woman.
All right, I'll let you have that.
Can't figure the phone out.
All right, don't overdo it. I'll let you have that one, Matt. I was going to do it myself, and I thought, no, Matt will do it. Just leave it at the one remark. They'll get it. Doesn't need a follow-up. Let's try the human zoo again. Good evening. You're on Play Radio.
Hello. I was calling in about the Holocaust thing.
Okay.
I was just wondering, because I heard you talking to Fat Steve, and you were saying, you don't know what my opinion is. And so I was just wondering, what is your opinion about it? Because it seems to be a bit of a topic you like.
Yeah. It's a good question, and thank you for asking it, and I don't have one as yet.
You don't have an opinion?
No, I don't.
But do you have you must have an opinion on, like, either you agree with, what all the governments of the world say about how many Jews died, or you don't agree with it, or you're not sure. You must be in one of those three categories.
I'm becoming unsure because all I've ever heard to now is the official version of events, which have been revised by a whole bunch of people over the last 40 or 50 years.
Yeah.
But still, nevertheless, he's having some questions asked about it. That official version of events. Yeah. By people who, many of them seem to be able to represent themselves very intelligently, such as David Cole. I think his name's David Cole. And David Irving. And a number of other people as well. And of course there are plenty of nutters involved, and the last thing that anybody wants to do is to throw a couple of logs onto the bushfire that is fascism. But I am interested in truth.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, truth, if there is such a thing, is always a good thing to go for. But it just seems like a kind of odd thing to be interested in when there is really only a very small handful of people that are trying to deny things that, everybody else really goes along with. I mean, the Germans don't deny it. Obviously the Austrians don't. They're the ones who've got a law against denying it now. This country's government don't deny it. I mean, maybe, I don't know, some Arabs might or something, but, it's not like one of those things that is really hotly disputed.
No, those Arabs, don't care about them, do we, what they have to think?
Well, it's not that they've got evidence for it, but obviously we know that the Arabs and the Jews have been fighting for thousands of years, so naturally the Arabs say whatever they can to kind of take a dig at the Jews, just as the Jews do the same to the Arabs. I mean, that's just the state of play, isn't it?
Well, it might seem like that at one level. There might be much more to it than that.
Do you think there is more to it then?
Well, yes, I do. I think that what I've read that David Irving, what little I've read about what David Irving is trying to say, does not seem to me to be denying that the Holocaust happened. He definitely, and I don't know anybody, and I've never come across anybody who's ever said that. So it seems to me that there has been some misrepresentation of those who want to reassess what evidence there is and perhaps get an even clearer picture of the things that happened.
So would you, instead of saying Holocaust denier, would you say Holocaust doubter then? Would that be
I think that the phrase that those who are asking these questions, but I don't know too much about them because they can't get out. Nobody is interviewing them. And they like the term revisionism, which I would have thought what's the point of any historian writing a new book about, I don't know, the Renaissance or Henry VIII if they're not revising history? So surely revisionism is the most important part of historical analysis, isn't it?
Well, I think it is something that's quite a hot topic. I mean, not just for this subject, but, when people do revise history, then obviously, it causes people to be a bit sort of upset and disturbed. But I think with this particular issue, with the Holocaust, with so many people dying, and also because it comes out of a hatred for the Jews, then the reason why it's so sensitive is because it's considered to deny or to greatly doubt the Holocaust. It is considered incitement to hatred, and I think that's what happens, is that because Jews happen to be one of the groups of people that people often hate and pick on, then any kind of excuse, people get on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I guess all of that could happen, but I look at other peoples who've been abominably treated.
Yeah.
If you look at what happened to the population of West Africa during the times of the slave trade.
Yes. Are you interested in talking to people to do with that subject as well, or is it just really the Holocaust that interests you?
No, look, I'm interested in everything, Zara, as Sherlock Holmes said. Yeah, I am. But if you wanted to make a comparison, I would have thought that the two greatest crimes of humanity have been the slave trade and the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And they're so significant that we need to understand them fully for what they were. Which is not to say that either of them were acceptable in any way, shape or form.
But when you say to understand the Holocaust fully, from what you've said so far, I mean, maybe it's just that you haven't had a chance to say more, it seems that you're just questioning how many people died. Because that's not understanding the Holocaust
I'm not
fully.
questioning anything. I want to hear what those who are questioning have to say.
Right.
That's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
I want to hear what people have to say. I'm not frightened of anything that anybody wants to say.
Sure, but isn't that just sort of suggesting it as a possible fact, but kind of doing it by stealth, by saying, it's not that I'm denying the Holocaust, I just want to hear what Holocaust deniers have to say? Isn't that kind of, the same thing, but just putting it in by stealth, by making it into a question?
Well, let me turn that round to you. Supposing you were to find out and be impressed by